just to explain a little bit about how the pattern gets from an idea on paper to being printed on wallpaper. Each colour in the pattern is printed separately. The design that the designer or the artist creates has to be broken down, separated into 2, 3, 4 colours, however many colours are in the design. In this case it's 4 colours, and each of these colours needs a separate printing screen, which is this thing here. This works like a stencil, and it's a fine mesh of polyester fabric stretched on a steel frame, and the pink part is a light sensitive emulsion which, when it hardens, doesn't allow ink or paint through onto the paper, and the white parts have no emulsion on them. They're open, so the colour goes through onto the paper, pushed through by the squeegee. And the design might start on paper, might start as a scan, as a graphic image, but however it starts, it has to go through a process of improving all the shapes to get them all perfect, and most importantly to get them to line up and repeat, so that it works as a repeat pattern, and that the wallpaper, when it's hung, when the 2 sheets are hung side by side, the pattern lines up and matches perfectly. So that's quite important, and these days that's all done using a graphics program on a computer, and that results in a file which is sent off to a specialist firm that produce these screens for us, and they output the file as a film, like one of those, a special outputting device that produces a film like that, one for each colour in the pattern, and then they coat the screen with this pink light sensitive emulsion, and then they attach the film to the screen and hold it in place and expose it to a very bright light. And where the light hits the emulsion, it hardens, and where the emulsion is protected from the light by the image on the film, it doesn't harden. And it can be washed out with a high pressure hose then. So that's how they make the stencil effectively. And it's a very good process, and it can get very, very fine detail. Well, the first stage in the process is painting the background colour on the wallpaper. In this case, this strong orange colour for the McKeown's Cuckoo wallpaper. And the background colour is painted using this very simple gizmo here, which we made 25 years ago as a sort of experimental prototype, intending to make a better version if it worked. And it worked quite well, and we never got around to making the real thing, so we're still using this. And it consists of a trough that you pour the paint into, and a long brush mounted in front of the trough, and the paper goes on behind, and there's no electricity or moving parts or mechanism involved, so we can keep going if there's a power cut. And it is literally a handmade wallpaper. So that paper goes through like that. You take your jug full of bright orange paint, which you pour into the top, like that, about a litre of it. And then you just grab one end of the paper and walk to the other end of the room. And that's how that works. In this case, four coats to get the good strong orange colour that we need for this. And then it gets hung up to dry. So, Each roll of wallpaper dries on one of these little trolleys that move around on that little railway line attached to the roof. And there are 16 of these little trolleys in this room, so we can paint 16 rolls of wallpaper in one go.
It's not the first time we've printed this for William McKeown. Not too sure what the first time was, but it was Douglas Hyde Gallery in Trinity. That was probably 20 rolls. This order is for a gallery in Florida, and their initial order was 100 rolls and for one space. So it's kind of a lot of cuckoos, but then I suppose a lot of cuckoos do arrive in the spring, early summer, so that's okay. And if it's a metaphor for some other type of nest raider, then they probably came in large numbers too. I don't know if that was Willie's idea, but we print in batches of 14 at max. Printing the first colour, for example, you would print one screen and you'd make a mark, and then you move it along and you make a mark again. So you've got a blank, and then you do the third, and then it keeps going on like that. And the rolls are 10 metres long, and this initial order for Florida was 100 rolls. So 100 times 10 metres is 1,000 metres, which we all know is 1 kilometre. But then there are 4 colours, because we print each colour separately. So we're printing a batch of 100 rolls 4 times. So that's 1 kilometre times 4. So 4 kilometres of printing for this order. We're hanging the rolls at full length, so it's going to be just about 10 metres height. So a full roll as a drop, they don't even cut it. So there's obviously an issue if we make a bad printing mistake halfway along with one of the colours, and where it would have to be cut. Normally we can cut and make use of either end of where the fault was. In this case, they need 10 metres uncut. So. But it's an exceptional order. It's very, very large. I mean, 100 rolls is. I don't think it's a private house in Ireland that could take 100 rolls in a room. Not even Castletown, I don't think.